welcome to the Definitive Jazz Piano course. My name is Alejandro bernard-papachryssanthou, and I'm very pleased to be working with you today. This video is the first in a series designed to teach you functional jazz piano skills. By the end of this video, you'll learn the form and melody to take the A train, how to accompany another instrumentalist or vocalist playing the song, how to accompany yourself playing the melody, and how to walk a left-hand bass line. I've made sure to include some piano-specific tips along the way too. Before we begin, I'd like to turn your attention to the description area, as it will serve as an index to this video. I've outlined the different sections of this video, and each section includes a printable handout material that you can use to follow along as I teach this lesson. If you're an educator, these materials can be used as lesson plans. If at any time during this lesson you have questions or you're not sure about something, go ahead and write it in the comments below, and I'll answer it as quickly as I can. Jazz piano, it can be very difficult at times, and I want to do my best to help you learn this beautiful and satisfying craft. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, and once you have, let's take that A train. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first sheet that you're going to find is the warm-up, and it goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Right? Kind of your basic big band jazz piano style. And so the first thing you have is this phrase goes. Right? And you have that really nice melody and you have those really nice rhythms. But before you can even do that, you might just want to play these as half notes. And. Right? Just to get them into your hand, to get them into your ear. You might not have heard sounds like these before, especially this one. That one's kind of exotic. Right? You can even do one hand at a time if you need to, but just make sure that your hands are present. You don't really want to force things and then, start to involve tension into your playing. All right, so you can check that out. The other thing I want to mention is when you get to the C6-9 chord in measure 7, feel free to slide your second finger from the F sharp to the G. Right? It just gives it that extra jazzy feel. You can do that, it's totally fine. It's great too. Before we get to the ending, I just want to say that you want to not use the pedal at all. And the reason is you want to unlock the percussive sound of the instrument. And when you pedal, it sounds just a little bit too smooth. But you're part of the rhythm section. So playing really punchy and having the front of the articulation is really important. So no pedal whatsoever when you do this. Okay, here's the second line. Goes. Right. And so if you have the span, you can play this with one hand, right? If you can do that, but it's totally fine if your hands aren't big enough that you can play the bottom note with your left hand. Just make it cute and piano. And then you have this big jump to your C6-9 chord. So that's a piano technique you're definitely going to want to work on when you have these big leaps from your upper to lower register. And a great way to work on it is this way. Right, is you don't play it, but you just practice hustling, right, and just playing that and just getting over there quickly. And so by doing that and setting your hands up, you're kind of setting yourself up for success so that when you do it for real and right, you get there early. You don't want to be there on time. You want to be there early. Okay, so definitely pay some attention to this first warm-up. You're going to see it come on later in the lesson. Okay, so the next part of the warm-up is the melody check, right? And just making sure that this technical part can get covered. Right, so you want to play this a few times so that it feels comfortable in your hand. And you'll notice that you can either slide your fifth finger down, right? Or you can play 5-4-1. Right, both are fine, whatever's more comfortable for you. All right, so definitely give the melody check just a little bit of love. So the next part is the A Train intro, and this is just part of the history of this piece of music. And generally, when you start this piece, you want to start it with the intro. And that's how you let everybody in the band know that we're going to play A Train. It goes a 1, 2, 3, and then you're ready to start the tune. Okay, so that's the whole warm-up. Go ahead and play through that until you're comfortable with it. Okay, so the next handout that we're going to go over is the chords and the melody. And you're going to notice that there's 3 staves. On the bottom 2 staves is the piano part, and on the top stave is the melody part. And a vocalist, you could sing it, or some C instrument could play along. And I've also included a lead sheet so that if you have a friend or you have a companion that you want to play with, you can just hand them the lead sheet and you can follow this. Or you could share a piece of music. So here's the piano part that you'll play on the bottom. Both hands together goes 1, 2, 3, and again, no pedal. Swinging that 8th note. Check this out. I hope you paid attention to the warm-up. And to really feel that swing, you can say, bucket of fish. It's silly, but it works. Bucket of fish, and second ending. Hurry, dee boo, 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 dee doo. Doo da, dee boo, 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 bee boo. Right? And we're gonna take the coda. No, I lied. We're gonna take the regular ending. I forgot what I had in store for you guys. Here it comes. And. Right? And that's the piano part. Right? And there's a coda built into that, but we'll get to that too. So definitely take your time to play through the left and the right hand parts of the piano. So the other thing that you can do with this resource as a pianist is that you can play the left hand part of the piano and then your right hand can cover the melody. And so you're pretty much 2 instruments in one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you don't have to play the rhythms that I wrote, right? Those are just good swing rhythms. When you get to that part, I would probably abandon the right hand and then bring it back down to the chords because that just doesn't sound so full and rich as this. 7. And there I did take the coda. I did take the coda that time. And so the coda is definitely just in unison. And you have that C6-9 chord from the warm-up. Okay? So again, you can use this resource to play the left hand of the piano part and the right hand, and together you've got 2 instruments. Okay, so let's get on to something a little bit more challenging. And again, in this particular resource, you're going to see that you have a piano stave on the bottom, and then you have the melody on the top. And so this is a bass line with rootless voicings in the right hand. And so the bass line underneath it, it says 8 vi basso sempre, which pretty much just means that you always want to play the left hand down an octave. And as a quick note, if you're reading a bass part, you're going to see it written up an octave, but sounding down an octave. So effectively, this left hand piano part is a bass part. And so you want to play it an octave lower, even though it's written above. All right, so you're going to be on your bass C. It'll sound like this, a 2, 3, 4. Some different rhythms. I'll try to stick to what's on the page. on Sugar Hill and Wallow. Right? And so that's the idea behind this. You can even accompany yourself and sing. So one important aspect about playing the bass line is that you want your fingers to lift high off the keys. And the reason again is you're going to get that more percussive quality, and you're going to be able to keep a more steady tempo. Right? We really don't want mushy fingers or like a really a bleeding sound from one key to the next. We really want just bright sounds where just you hear one note at a time. Right, so that's really important. And the other thing about fingering in the left hand is that any fingering goes. As long as it's comfortable to you and it doesn't hurt and it gets the job done, you can use whatever fingers you like. Okay, there's just, I'm sure there's like more efficient ways to do it, but whatever works best for you is the best. Right, so that's how to approach your left hand, right? And even just practicing this left hand by itself is really, really important. Okay, and you're going to need to have some good reading skills to go over the right hand. Okay, so finally, to put it all together, you can do the left hand bass and the right hand melody, and every now and then you can start to throw in a chord, right? So you're doing 3 instruments all between the 2 hands. Sounds like this: 2, 3, 4. Here's the CODA. Right. And so the left hand just stays steady on the bass, just holds it down. You can put it on autopilot once you know your lines well enough, and then the right hand can bounce back between the melody and the interspersing compi chords. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you did, make sure to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel so you can continue to get great content as soon as it comes out. If you know somebody that would appreciate this course, go ahead and give it a share. And in the meantime, you can browse the rest of my channel. I've got other great lessons and videos for you. Thanks again, and I'll catch you at the next one.